The Badgers just picked up a burner. Where does he fit into the two deep? And is this a bit of an underrated pickup? Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Herrings. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you making this your first listen every day and being an everydayer, building this community. Today's episode, we are talking about the latest portal commit. Dekel Crowdus commits to the Badgers out of the portal, comes from Hawaii, previously Kentucky, previously a four-star receiver target. This one filed somewhere in the back of your brain. Like, put this name somewhere in the back of your brain because there's something here that's really interesting to me. Let's first start with the player, and then we're going to get into the fit. I've said often when a player comes in, especially a guy in the portal, well, let's just start who he is. Let's start with Dekel Crowdus. Commits to the Badgers. He was in Hawaii last year. Again, I like doing these shows just so everybody kind of has a feel for all these new players. You have some background information. Hawaii last year. Previous couple years, he was at University of Kentucky. As a high school player, he was a four-star recruit, four-star receiver, had a lot of really good offers. He's 5'10", 5'11", depending on where you look. So not a big guy, listed at about 170, 180, somewhere in that range. So not a big receiver, undersized, not real big, not really physical. Maybe he's a slot guy. Here's the thing. He has speed to burn. He has crazy speed. We've talked so much about Ballard. This might be the fastest receiver we now have in the room in Crowdus. And you start to stack Anthony, Ballard, and now Crowdus. You have real game-changing speed here. We're going to get into the pros and negatives here and why not to overreact, but why there's something here you really like. He is he ran a 4.28 at a combine at, I think it was Georgia Tech, and he had a 4.30 combine. He's like a 4.35 guy. I never fully believed like a 4.28 combine, but this is like a 4.35, 4.4 guy. This guy is a speed merchant. He's got jetpacks on his feet. You watch the film, and there's not a lot because we're going to get into some productivity stuff and maybe why he wasn't more productive with that type of speed. But on some of the deep clips where he catches a ball, there's a practice clip he put out there. He just pulls away from people. I mean, it's a different gear. So it's reflected in some of his numbers. Last year at Hawaii, he caught 16 passes for 402 yards and 4 touchdowns. 16 passes for 402 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's 25.1 yards per carry or per catch. That's a touchdown every 4th reception, right? I mean, that speaks to the big playability. It speaks to his ability to get beyond the defense, to pull away from people. Then, the next obvious question is, well, if he's got that type of speed, if he's got that type of ability, why is he getting 16 catches in a season for Hawaii? It goes back to he's probably not a very nuanced route runner. He's not very big, right? He probably has some issues maybe with contested catches. I definitely haven't seen enough film, but he probably kind of is who he is at this point. He's a senior. He has 1 year left of eligibility. So don't expect him to come in and suddenly be Deshaun Jackson, who had that type of speed, but also had that incredible amount of production. The fact that he didn't do a lot at Kentucky his first 2 years, and then at Hawaii, 16 receptions, it probably tells you that he's had some issues either running route trees or with hands or with contested catches, or maybe, who knows, right? For whatever reason, despite the incredible speed that he has, it hasn't really translated. And yet it's still translated to 400 yards at the Division I level last year, because when he touches the ball, he's a threat to take it 80. He's a threat to take it 70. So that's why I think you write his name down on an index card and you put it in your brain, because this is the type of guy who could pop up and make a big play in a big moment, because people just don't run this fast. There's just not very many guys that have this type of speed and this level of speed. And you don't accident your way into 25 yards a catch at the Division I level. I don't care who you are. That you don't accidentally do that over 16 receptions, average 25 yards a catch. There is legitimate speed and explosiveness there. And even if you're just using him to get more speed on the field, to push a safety off, to occasionally hit a deep shot, to take a deep shot, to take a jet sweep, something like that, that speed is also going to create a little bit of worry, a little bit of stress on defensive backs, on safeties, on defensive coordinators. You can't have too many fast guys in football. You cannot have too many fast guys in football. I really love this pickup as just a low-level lottery ticket. Very similar to Jaden Ballard. Get somebody who's really fast. Now, in Ballard's case, there's more to him because he's really fast, but he's also bigger. He's stronger. He's 6'2". But here you have a kid who legitimately is as fast as Ballard, maybe faster. And again, I saw the reported 4.28 40, and I don't listen. I'm not buying that. Like more verification required, but he's probably a 4.35 type guy. And now you can put him on the field with Vinny, who's a 4.4-ish guy. Ballard, who's you listen to Emilio Agard. Agard thinks Ballard might be like a low 4.3 guy. There's so much speed at the receiver spots now. It's really intriguing, really exciting to think about. And again, not a polished guy. Clearly, he had 16 receptions last year, but he had 400 yards. Where would 400 yards have been on the Badgers last year if you start to rank out receivers? Where would 400 yards, receiving yards for the Badgers typically be? One thing I've consistently said in the portal, if you can get somebody in that has at least one carrying trait, that makes sense to me. It feels like there's something they can lean on. He has speed. Speed is a carrying trait for him. It's evident in the receptions. It's evident in the yardage. It's evident that when you see the clips on film. He had a couple practice clips out there where, again, he's just pulling away with easy speed. He had a touchdown against UNLV, just pulling away with easy speed. You don't see a lot of it. And again, I think that probably has something to do with consistency issues, maybe the nuances of playing receiver. Maybe he struggles getting off jams. There's definitely a reason he hasn't had more receptions with that type of speed. There's definitely some type of reason that's holding him back. But you don't need him to catch 30, 40 balls at Wisconsin. Be another deep threat. Give Wisconsin something else that defenses have to worry about. Give Jeff Grimes another weapon that he can play with. And what is one of the things Jeff Grimes does? This is another reason I love this pickup. And it's a lottery ticket. Let's be honest with this. It might not amount to anything. In fact, statistically, the odds probably are that it won't amount to a big deal. But it's a really fun lottery ticket to have, because if it clicks somehow, you just unlocked another element of this offense, because Grimes likes taking deep shots off play action. He likes playing that vertical passing game. That's exactly what Dekel Crowdus is going to give you with that vertical athleticism, that vertical speed, explosiveness down the sideline, up the seam. This is a fast receiver core. I don't know, when was the last time Wisconsin had 3-4-4 guys in their receiver room, in their receiver core? I don't know. I like it for that reason. Let's see what we got in the comments here. MVG, what's up, Matt? Smo, what's up, Smo? YouTube user says definitely Tretch insurance. I'm going to get into Tretch next and what I think this means for Tretch and what I think it means for the depth chart. I'm going to get into that next. But yeah, we're definitely going to hit on that, YouTube. Mike D says he might be good for returning punts too. That was my first thought, Mike, and I think you're dead on for thinking that. But then I went and looked. I don't think he has had any special teams experience. And I'll tell you this, a lot of times I feel like returners, it's more of a feel, anticipation, quickness thing than a pure speed thing. And my guess is because he hasn't really done it in his career, he probably doesn't have the feel for it. That's just my guess. I have no clue. Certainly you love that level of speed and athleticism on special teams if it can play, but I feel like he doesn't have the feel because he hasn't been used there, and it feels like an obvious guy to use there. Smo, send him in motion, open him the field. I agree. The Grogan says, is the jet sweep back? It is. The jet sweep's back. They were using quarterback power in spring practice. They were running a counter off the jet sweep where they're coming back power on the backside. They fake it to the jet sweep on one side, Ballard running across the formation, and then they counter it back with Dylan Jones behind a pulling guard. It's going to be more fun in those ways. Brian has the same question. Can he return punts? Yeah, I think ideally that would be awesome to have a guy back there with that type of juice, but I just, the fact that he's never done it makes me feel like he probably doesn't have the feel. Just a pure guess on my part. I have no clue. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to get into what I think this means for the depth chart, where I think he could play. Is this Tretch insurance? We're going to get into that next on Locked On Badgers. Really fun, interesting little pickup, though, that I'm excited for. But coming up, we got to take a quick break for our friends of the show, and then we're going to come back with what it means for this team. Today's episode brought to you by our incredible friends over at Gametime. We talked about this a lot. I believe in this thing. I believe in Gametime because I want us all, we should do more in life. We get, if we're lucky, 80, 90 revolutions around the sun. If we're lucky. Some of us don't get that, sadly, unfortunately. Let's do some things in those 80 or 90 revolutions around the sun. Let's go to a game together. Let's go to a concert together. Let's go to a Broadway show together. Let's go to a Badgers game together in Camp Randall or Laban or wherever. Let's go to a Big Ten championship game with the Badgers in it together. And let's get those tickets together on Gametime. Let's hang. Let's build memories. Let's build camaraderie. Let's build a community. Let's be there with fans. And you can find the best tickets at the lowest prices with the greatest inventory across the biggest inventory of different events over at Gametime. It's something I've used personally. It works great. It's fast. It's simple. It's easy. You just got to download the Gametime app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Today's episode also brought to you by our incredible friends over at Amazon Fire TV Stick. And if you like to move around a lot, you like to travel, but you want to bring everything with you, this is for you. You can turn your Fire TV Stick into an Xbox. You can turn any TV into a gaming and entertainment hub with the Fire TV Stick 4K device. No console required. Let's go. 2025 is rocking with this type of technology. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, EA Play included. You're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, EA Sports, College Football 25, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple and all on your Fire TV. Plus, it's everything else you love about the Fire Stick. You still get Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, great customer support, seamless technology. It is unbelievable to continue to travel with you and give you every bit of entertainment option you could possibly want, or just hook it up in a spare room in your house. It is awesome. Head over to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, compatible, controller required. Available on select devices, including the Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, Fire TV Cube third generation. Okay, let's pop back into this. Let's talk big picture, what this could mean, what it could not mean. I think ultimately it's just a depth pickup. I want to start there. I've said this before. I've used this analogy before. Sometimes in portal shopping, maybe you're looking for one specific thing, two specific things. You're going through the portal grocery store, and you're like, I really need this defensive lineman, and that's what I'm here for. But holy cow, this is a really fast receiver. I'm going to pick him up while I can because depth matters in a long season. I think it's a little bit of that. Obviously, you lose a couple of receivers. You lose a Quincy Burrows. You lose a Mark Hamper. I think there was a little bit of depth needed there. And this is what I think this is. I don't think this indicates a concern. I'll just say it. I don't think this is anything to do with Tretch. I know some people have speculated, does this mean Tretch is out longer? Does it mean he's hurt more? I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think they're looking at a guy who at a spot where they're not very proven. Tretch, for all the excitement and all the upside, hasn't proven much. And Kyler Johnson hasn't proven much. Anything. Tyrell Henry hasn't proven much in his career. Here's an opportunity to add to that spot, add an upperclassman, add somebody who caught 16 balls last year, 400 yards. It gives you something else there. And on top of it, I think this is an upside piece. This is a guy you say, okay, we're going to add a veteran to the room, gives us some upside. But man, if this clicks, this could be a piece that really out hits its expectations, right? It could really unlock a few things if we can figure out how to use him, and if he can figure it out here, if it clicks. Imagine adding a guy, maybe he catches 10 balls, but maybe he averages 18, 20 yards a catch. That's a big deal for a late spring portal pickup that you're just kind of looking at as depth. And if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. It doesn't hurt you anything. Again, veteran piece, I'll say this. The fact that he has 1 year of eligibility left and he's coming to Wisconsin makes me think that he's at least under the impression that they're going to use him. Because otherwise, why would he come here? If you're a sophomore or a junior, sure, go maybe go somewhere to sit for a year. He's a senior. So unless he just loves Madison and cheese curds, I think he's coming to play in some role, in some capacity, or at least very, very, very much in the competition. So yeah, I think this is a really sneaky good pickup. Especially on the margins where it could give you some explosiveness. It could give you some speed. I like it. I would file the name, put it in the back of your head. I would file it away. I really do like it. ER says, finally seeing a Wisconsin coaching staff successfully recruiting speed opens up so many options and variables for opponents to deal with. Listen, you can't get around it. This receiver room is fast. Now, running backs aren't burners. But they're good. You have a good running back room. You have a lot of speed at receiver. You have not a ton of speed at tight end, but this is a pretty fast offense. When you look at that receiving room, Billy Edwards can move. The running backs can move pretty well. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, we're gonna wrap there. Again, just a quick show. Wanted to introduce everybody to the new players, some background, what I think of them. Again, just blistering speed. You're adding a speed merchant, veteran guy. I think it's depth, but it gives you another option at that slot spot in case one of these players isn't ready or they're not performing up to expectations. It's a really nice pickup. I give the Badgers staff kudos on this one. On Wisconsin, and we will definitely talk later, y'all. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot. Actually, hold on, can't go without doing this.
Fire the recruiting cannons. Another one is headed to Madison. On Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin, and we will talk to all of. Oh, fired it again. There it is, Smo. Let's fire those cannons. On Wisconsin, we will definitely talk to you guys later.